And welcome everybody to another episode of the 5 Reasons Sports Network's very own Pulse of Fins Nation. It is quite possibly the most exciting one that we are going to have in a very long time, because the way that we are feeling, the pulse of Fins Nation right now is beating stronger. It is honestly beating so strong. I wondered how many of us were about to have a stroke watching what we were watching on TV on Sunday. My name is Louis Song. I'm joined by Ron Caniff, and of course our good friend Manny is in the producer's booth doing what he does, and he also has a lot to be excited about. His Philadelphia Eagles did some exciting stuff on Monday Night Football. So, Mr. Caniff, how are you doing?
How could I not be doing fantastic? Even though I'm in a different location, I'm doing this from a hotel room. That's commitment right there. Of course, Manny was doing it from San Fran, so a couple weeks ago. Maybe it was last week.
I mean, where are you right now?
I'm in Lake Mary, which is north of Orlando, for those who don't know.
You on vacation? Is it work?
What's the deal? No, work stuff.
Okay, well,
training, man.
But hey, you know what? It's still a thing. So before we get too far into everything that's going on, there was a comment all the way back at 1:30, and I want to be able to highlight it. But first, we're gonna go into it. This is our sponsor, of course, for the Pulse of Fins Nation. PrizePicks.com is the revolutionary fantasy platform where you pick up to 5 different players across professional sports leagues, whether that's the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, if you're into that sort of thing. You can choose whatever you want. It's totally up to you. All you have to do is choose the over or the under on individual players' fantasy projections. You can choose individual stats. You can go through the classic fantasy point projections. I personally suggest at this point that you should always pick Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle on the over, just because it doesn't seem like Tua needs to throw to anybody except for those 2 guys. So all you have to do is just use the promo code 5, that's FIVE, when you go to prizepicks.com, and they will match up to $100 on your deposit when you initially sign up. Again, that's promo code 5, FIVE. We at the 5 Reasons Sports Network are, of course, proud to have them as our sponsors. So, the Miami Dolphins somehow, by the way, Manny, the ticker down there, can you just, that was a previous show. By the way, if you haven't checked out Alfredo Arteaga and Hussam Patel's scouting combine dive into the Tua Tagovailoa's 6-touchdown performance, you should definitely do that, as you can tell by the running ticker down below.
I watched it live. It was awesome.
Yep. So very interesting stuff that you can check out there on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. So now we're going to go ahead and get started with our live tweets here. And I think I might actually have to dive in and start doing producer stuff. I think Manny might have disappeared on us again because he did.
Good times. Whoops.
I mean, he was saying earlier that he had actually lost internet connection. So I'm going to see if maybe I can get in here and have access to what's going on. I wonder if it's going to freak out because I'm in here twice. Yeah, it's in here twice. Okay. So
Manny says he's in there.
Let me just mute myself.
It's
here.
Live TV without a net, everybody.
Okay. Yeah. So Manny, I just need you to remove the ticker. That's all. It's because it's showing Hussam's and Alfredo's show.
Boom.
There we go. Okay. Perfect. All right. So anyway, let's get into it. Miami Dolphins won 42-38, beating the Baltimore Ravens in, quite frankly, what was the greatest comeback I have ever seen as a Dolphins fan. Nothing else comes close. Even the Miami Miracle, for as amazing as that was, bro.
Yeah, but it had less meaning for the season, and it was just like a one-time incident, like one great play that was exciting for like a few days and put us in this high, but in the grand scheme of things, it didn't mean anything. This means so much more. I think we all know.
Oh yeah, this has very promising aspects for the future, because all of a sudden these Miami Dolphins are not just they're just trying to spoil New England's fun. No, they're trying to spoil our fun, because we're the team that you have to watch out for now. Now, granted, Buffalo's next. Buffalo's going to be tough. We know that they're going to be tough.
Buffalo schmuffalo.
Is that it? Was that where we're at now, Ron? Is that how strong your pulse is beating right now for
maybe we'll see when we talk later about our predictions.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to get started with Cap for Life. Hi, Cap. How you doing? That spin move was a thing of beauty. Flowers for everyone. So that's Cap going ahead and say, hi, how you doing, dude? So, yeah, no, that spin move that Tua did. Listen, I'm going to point this out, and maybe I'm going to get dunked on later because of this. But I feel like that the time has come for us to actually give Nick Hicks some respect as Tua's trainer.
Oh, like, for perform. Yeah, because I even said, I mean, even at halftime, I said this after the first game. I said this at halftime in OnlyFans, right? I said, look, I see a team that clearly had better play calling, clearly has a better offense, clearly had more skill players, and Tua was benefiting from that. But I still didn't see a better Tua. And boy, in the second half, that wasn't just, yeah, there was a couple blown coverages. No doubt. Of course, you throw 6 touchdowns, you throw that many deep ball touchdowns. I mean, nobody threw that many deep ball touchdowns all of last year. No quarterback. I mean, you got quarterback like Mahomes and Allen and Herbert that played way crappier teams than the Ravens and didn't have a game like that. So sure, but it was absolutely a better Tua. I mean, how much time did I spend last week talking about Tua struggled, coming out of the play action, which I think they did a little less of that and did a little bit more, maybe RPO this time as an adjustment. So I feel a little vindicated that I was right there. But he and I said, oh, he can't improvise. He has to find it in the offense. He can't improvise. I said that myself just a week ago. Man, did he prove me wrong in that second half, because he was doing some improvising for sure. And it was great to see. So I agree. Let's give Nick some credit there.
Yeah, they perform. He's been trained. They've been training. Like, we see the videos. We saw the hype videos, and everybody was like, "Oh, he only threw it 55 yards instead of 60. Oh, what does this have anything to do with playing quarterback?" And we all made fun of him. We all did it just at some point, right? Like, we all just started like, "Oh my God, enough, dude, enough. Get over yourself." Like, but for real though, the practice that they've put in, the training that they've done, it's paying off. It didn't always show up the way we wanted to, but it's paying off. And I think that this may be the beginning of Tua getting comfortable in this style of offense. Because remember, this was the first game against the Patriots is just the first week in real game time that Tua was actually getting to use the offense to its fullest extent, right? And of course, we still had Austin Jackson at right tackle, which, by the way, one of the tweets that we're going to be featuring, I think mentioned something about the fact that Greg Little is in there. And Greg Little, mind you, he's not giving that job back, bro.
No, I don't see it.
No, Austin Jackson is done. He's done.
Well, he'll be the swing tackle when he comes back, which is kind of where we always were thinking maybe that would be a better spot for him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if Greg Little continues to play like that, now they got a force of a D-line coming soon, but those 4 guys over in Buffalo can get at the quarterback without the rush. But Greg Little did fantastic on Sunday.
And Alfredo pointing out, thank you, Alfredo, for supporting. All of the narratives have been wrong. All Tua has to do is stay consistent and let these clowns move on to blaming, quote unquote, blaming his weapons. They already started that. Yeah, I know. I watched First Take. I watched the First Take clips. I watched the Undisputed clips. I watched all the clips. Everybody who was into his camp is all.
Did Undisputed even mention the game? I didn't see yesterday's episode. I didn't know.
They did. They did the same thing that Stephen A. did. You're an embarrassment to the Ravens' legacy for allowing that to happen. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Like, I watched Stephen A. He stared right at the camera and said, "The Baltimore Ravens, you are an embarrassment to Ray Lewis and Ed Reed and those boys." I'm like, give Tua some credit. Doggone it. Like, man, what does he have
I said,
to do?
a lot supposed better quarterbacks last year. The entire season played a whole lot worse defenses and teams. And did not have a performance like that. No one threw 6 touchdowns the entire year. And it wasn't just 6 touchdowns that were thrown 3 yards and ran for 50. You know what I mean? So I don't know what more you want from the guy. You said he couldn't get it to his weapons. He did. You said he couldn't throw it deep enough. He did. So you keep, like I said, we knew, right? Didn't we say at the beginning of the season what was going to be the thing? Goalpost moving, man. At this point, an extra point.
The goalpost has moved out of the stadium.
At this point, when Sanders kicks an extra point, it's like a 70-yard field goal because y'all have moved the goalpost so far back. It's ridiculous. But we said it was going to happen. We said they would just keep moving the goalpost and making every excuse as to why it was BS. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We got 15 games left plus the playoffs in the Super Bowl. So
they've dug themselves too deep, Ron. They can't get out. They've dug themselves too deep. They have to stick to it. Otherwise, it's gonna be
pretty soon they just won't mention it at all. That'll be their response. Just not talk about it.
Just wait till the Dolphins are in the playoffs. All right. Let's get to the first tweet. Manny, go ahead and pick one up there so we can react to it. There was plenty, believe me. I put it out there. It's like, what's everybody feeling? So there we go. From Matt. He's been a long time follower of mine ever since I first got got to Twitter, honestly. Possibly the best game that 97% of the fan base was able to witness during their time as a fan. Great for Tua. Hope he can ride that. In my opinion, felt for a while that the D needed more attention than the offense, and yesterday being Sunday, showed a number of reasons why. Easier to fix issues when you win. This is true. When the fan base is feeling like when they're riding that kind of a high, it makes a big difference. Everybody feels happier, and the issues are there, but they're not so glaring that they just blind you to any type of positivity. So, but yes, the defense. When you were on Final Yard with us, which thank you, by the way, for joining. It was great to have you on. The Final Yard, you basically said you were going to give credit to the defense, and I kind of raised my eyebrow. I don't know if you noticed that I do that. I kind of raise my eyebrow when there's a take that I hear. Whenever I'm like, what's that all about? And so you gave credit to the defense, and mind you, I kind of see where you're coming from, right?
Because if we could clarify, in the second half.
Yeah,
obviously not the first half. It was terrible.
Yeah, in the second half, they came together and they made some great stops when they needed it, but it wasn't the shutdown Dolphins defense that you were hoping for, right? They couldn't.
It wasn't after except for the Lamar Jackson rush for 70-something yards.
Yeah,
it absolutely was. It was, and they started playing a different defense. They started playing a different defense from the first half, I should say.
I guess the thing that we're looking for is like, where's the explosive defense, right? You talk about an explosive offense. The Miami Dolphins for the past couple of seasons under Brian Flores have had an explosive defense. They make turnovers. They hit hard. They force fumbles. They pick up turnovers for touchdowns. That's the kind of thing they almost had it. Xavier Howard with that dropped interception.
Oh yeah, that was a pick six. We still ended up getting the ball back and scoring on that drive.
Yeah,
I mean, it worked out the way it was supposed to.
Oh yeah, we absolutely did. Don't get me wrong.
He dropped a pick six in a game he really needed it because he was not having a great game. Have a great game.
No, he didn't have a great game. But you know what? If he had managed to do that, the narrative on the defense would have actually been softened quite a lot. You know what I mean? And so now we're gonna go and react to the next one. Jeff Matricino. I don't know. I'm going to read it like Matricino because that's usually how two C's sound together. The team better be watching Buffalo yesterday. Great live film study and gives us a slight advantage. So I guess we should talk a little bit about Buffalo because once again, the Buffalo Bills absolutely ruined Ryan Tannehill's life all over again. Like every time they meet up, Ryan Tannehill, this turns into like the worst quarterback you've ever.
Didn't the Titans beat the Bills last year and they weren't expected to? I thought the Titans would play a much better game than they did last night. Wow, that was bad. But I mean, they're playing the Bills. The Bills are a really good team, but the Titans don't look very good this year.
No,
compared to last year, they look like they've lost some talent. Obviously, they've lost their big play wide receiver in AJ Brown. So
isn't he with the Eagles now, Manny? Isn't he with the Eagles?
He is. How about that? They got him and Smith, man. That's the second best wide receiver duo in the NFL.
Second best.
So
wait, where did the Bengals then? Like, did you put the Bengals in first place then?
No, the Dolphins.
No, so where do the Bengals rank with
fourth?
Fourth. Yeah. Who's third?
Diggs and Davis.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm just making this ranking up as I go. I don't really care who's second through fifth. I just know the Dolphins are the best. Y'all can schmaggle around for the ranking of the losers if you want. Okay, I'm just messing with Manny now.
Okay. All right. Next up, from Daniel Coletta. Baltimore offense and defense has something to prove, which they did. They showed that in the first half, and they seem to have answers for everything. Yeah, they did. Remember that cover zero? They basically dared Miami. Go ahead, try it.
I kept saying it the entire time I said, even in the offseason, and I definitely said last week, the Ravens had started to figure out what to do with the cover zero at the very end of last year's game. It was just too late by then. You know what I mean? I said I knew they were going to be ready for it. Even when the defense played much more locked down in the second half, we still didn't even come close to touching Lamar Jackson. Didn't even come close. With the we would blitz, we would rush four. It didn't matter. We could not touch the man. So we knew they were going to be ready, and they were ready. They were ready for everything but Tua all of a sudden is now Dan Marino, and Hill and Waddle are Clayton and Duper. They were ready for everything but a few minutes before the fourth quarter, but no one was ready for that. We all thought the game was over. I think they thought the game was over too. You just don't see stuff like that happen very often.
Do you think that may have had something to do with it, that the Ravens were kind of relaxing and feeling like, oh, we can just kind of play on our heels a little bit because it doesn't matter?
Of course, and I give all the credit in the world.
Absolutely.
Oh, of course, but I give all the credit in the world to one man for not letting the Dolphins give up. And that's Mike McDaniel, which we're going to talk about a whole lot more because I give him most of the credit for this win. And not just in that game, but everything leading up to it and everything he's done since the day he's been here. That man can coach football. Little scrawny dude with the clipboard that a lot of people say, what did we hear something about Mike McDaniel's not tough
He's not
enough?
big and tough and he's imposing. He's not scary.
Who's the idiot who said that? I can't even remember who it was.
I think he was a New England analyst.
Ben Violin, whatever his name is.
Oh, come on, guys. Let's not act dumb. Kyle Hamilton, a rookie. He hasn't been watching film. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Man, he cut out.
Yeah, he needed to. No, I'm just kidding. But Mike McDaniel just didn't let that team give up. Every other Dolphins team I know since the Marino days, that game was over. So I think we've got a good coach now who can get the most out of this team. And man, is he a play caller? Holy crap! That guy's like unbelievable. He was like in a zone. I've never seen a coach be in a zone before with play calling. That absolutely is where he was. No doubt.
And we're going to acknowledge Alex M for this $5 super chat. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alex, sir.
Much appreciated. So who are the upcoming free agent middle linebackers? Jerome Baker gets toasted by tight ends on coverage the same way my Nature's Own Honey Oats bread slice gets toasted by my Ninja toaster. So, we are not sponsored by Nature's Own. We are not sponsored by Ninja, although we wish we were. Give us a call, okay? Let's go ahead and throw the name drop. So I guess I can go ahead and look that up. Let me just see what kind of players would be available in 2023 as far as middle linebackers. Although I'm pretty sure that what Miami's going to be planning on doing is as far as straight up middle linebacker goes, that's going to be Landon Roberts. He's the middle linebacker is typically he's the guy who's the thumper in the middle, right?
So sure do, Cap.
The Baker replacement's going to be Tyndall, but I mean, he wasn't even available for this game. He was for illness, and he's a rookie anyway. So that'll be, if we're looking for somebody to eventually replace Baker, that's going to be the guy.
And by the way, an interesting point that Alfredo's bringing up right now in the chat is that Jerome Baker gave up only 1 catch for 9 yards, so you can blame the secondary for Andrews' yard. You know who I would? Brandon Jones.
Yeah, Brandon Jones came back down a little bit. Yeah, from his first week.
Brandon Jones was awesome in game 1 as a blitzer. In coverage, it's just not there, man. But you know what? What I did notice, you know who I noticed? I was 1 week too early. But Eric Rowe.
Eric Rowe. Well, Eric Rowe didn't play week 1.
No, that's what I said. I was 1 week too early.
He was back. They were back to having him cover Andrews. But man, Andrews is one of the best tight ends in the league.
I know.
You can't expect. I mean, come on. You got these guys. What is it that everybody likes to say on the Miami now? McDaniel and Tua. The other guys get paid too. Right?
No, yeah.
So we'll just steal that line. They get paid too. You can't expect that these guys to get shut down every time, every play. This is an offensive league now. There's a reason you need an offensive coach and a powerful offense to win consistently and get to where you need to be. Gone to me are the days of let's just play defense and run the ball. I mean, I'm telling you, man, these guys are Belichick and Tomlinson, if that's going to be they're dinosaurs, man. They're done. That's not going to work anymore. That they'll win some games because they're such good at getting the best out of it. But if that's going to be their strategy, forget it. They'll be lucky to make playoffs. They'll get crushed the second they do. The offense is going to beat defense. It's the game is designed for it to be that way, right? I don't know if we'll ever see another Baltimore Ravens, 85 Chicago Bears defense again, because the game's just not designed. The rules don't, make that possible really anymore. They just don't. You just got to try and play the best defense you can and hope you have a good enough offense to make up the difference, which until now, Miami never did.
No, they didn't. But you know what? What I'm going to do, like I said, because Alec is still talking about it's not the first tight end that has burned this defense. Again, that's true. But when I saw that Eric Rowe was covering Andrews, suddenly he didn't seem quite as big of a threat as he was. Whereas Brandon Jones and other guys were literally letting Andrews run wild.
Brandon Jones cannot be covering Andrews. Or
Mark Andrews was running wild with Brandon Jones covering. But as soon as Rowe showed up, It's like he was on him. Like he's still making catches, mind you, but Eric Rowe's right there with him, man, ready to bring him down right away. So, and maybe that's why the Dolphins didn't cut him to save some salary cap. They knew that.
Oh, no, they needed him.
He had a role. He had a role. He has a role in this defense.
100%.
All right. So then the next tweet here from Eddie. We're 2 weeks away from adding Byron Jones to the back end of the defense, and we're 2-0. See, that's the thing. We're still not we haven't even acknowledged it. We've practically forgotten all about Byron Jones.
Well, I mean, we're just trying to we've been in the mindset since the beginning to get through this first 4 games, and we knew we weren't going to have Byron Jones. So I can't even think about that until until week 5. And hopefully it's not even a guarantee, but hopefully we'll have him back by then.
And Aaron saying, funny, I saw somebody they weren't impressed about a quarterback throwing for 469 yards. I mean, listen.
They're lying to themselves. Whoever they are, they know they're lying to themselves. People hate being proven wrong. That's just the way the world works.
Oh, yeah, no. Keyshawn Johnson, for instance, he's going to hang on to that until the day he dies. I really feel like it.
It's fine. Doesn't he work for ESPN?
He does. He was on First Take as well with Stephen A. And he basically said that, I like Keenan Allen, I like Mike Williams because I like big wide receivers. I'm like, so you like people who are like you little narcissist, you. Okay, sure.
Oh, well, that's fine.
All right. So from end the Ross terror. Hey, listen, Steve Ross picked Mike McDaniel, so got to give him some credit. Okay, give him some credit there. I didn't read the tweet yet. McManny wants to get through as many of them as he can. Let's go. Let's keep it moving. All right. They're praying it's the sign of a new era and the fruition of the promise of the teardown in 2019. You know, if you really think about it, Ron, we're right on schedule. How long does it usually take? How long does it usually take?
We are on schedule. I give Greer a lot of credit. He hasn't been perfect. I don't know that any GM is perfect, but he's done a phenomenal job since the teardown of adding talent to the team, managing the salary cap. We're in the perfect spot, right? We're in the a last year or two of a cheaper first contract quarterback. We have heavy salary in other areas, and we're a pretty talented team. So we're where we need to be there. We're right on schedule. So it's not perfect. We have some holes. I think every team does, but we're doing great with that. Alex M.
He was drunk after the starting kickoff. Listen, I was pretty upset with the starting kickoff too. I think that was but you know what? Again, it's like there's always going to be something that needs to be fixed. From Kevin, Dolph fan Kevin, another longtime follower of mine. It's on to Buffalo now. Enough about the Ravens game. It's like, enough. We've moved on. We have to get ready for Josh Allen and the powerful Bills. If we want to be taken seriously, then beat the Bills. We've lost too many in a row to them, so we are due. I mean, there's an interesting point to that because, the Buffalo Bills are the benchmark, right? They're the Super Bowl favorites at this point.
Super Bowl favorites. They're clearly the best team in the league. You know what I mean? At least in the AFC, but probably the league.
Although apparently Josh Allen's arm is pretty weak. You saw him short hop that 5-yard pass to his running back.
It can happen to even the best of them, I suppose.
Yeah, you see, it happens. It happens.
Sometimes you don't get your footwork right, or you just, I don't know, don't see it right, and you throw it in the dirt. It happens.
Meanwhile, John Krantz is saying that he's just enjoying the vibe until we come back to earth against Buffalo. So he's expecting a loss. Like straight up, there's no shot.
Well, I tell you what, we can celebrate the 6 touchdowns as long as we celebrated the Miami Miracle, which sometimes I feel like we're still not celebrating. Have you seen that commercial on NFL Network? It's like it's an X. I don't know what it's even for, but all it shows is X's and O's, and it plays the audio, and it never tells you who the teams were or what the plays were. But the first time I saw it, I was watching, all right, they're going to throw, I think they said they were going to throw a Hail Mary, and that'll end this, and he throws it. And I was watching the X's and the O's because I've seen that play so many times. I was like, oh, that plays the Miami Miracle. So it's like we never stop celebrating it. We can celebrate the 6 touchdowns till the end of time. We've been talking about the Arizona game with Tua for 3 years or 2 years. I just know that the team enjoyed it for that night, and I promise you they're already on to Buffalo, and that's what matters. It doesn't really matter what we're doing. It matters that McDaniel apparently already has his game plan. He's probably updated or adjusted that since last night. They'll be presenting that tomorrow, and that's where the team's focus was. You heard Tua. He threw 6 touchdowns, man. 20 minutes later after the game, 10 minutes later after the game, he was in the locker room talking about, man, we got Buffalo next week, and then we got short turnaround to Cincinnati. He was already moved on. It'd been 10 minutes since he had one of the best games of his life. You know what I mean? So that's all that matters. We can enjoy it the rest of our lives if we want. We're fans.
So Mike once again says, "I'm still giddy, but the Dolphins fan in me always has concern." That's that beaten Dolphins syndrome again. It's going to take some time to wear off.
We got PTSD. It's understood.
So he's worried about Armstead, and he's worried about the defense. So we already discussed the defense a little bit. Teron Armstead, listen, for somebody who has an issue with his toe, he was crucial. And I mean crucial in that game.
He made some nice. Did you guys see the block he made on and they talked about it in I think it's the Extra Yard. That was a show that was earlier today with Alf. Did you see the block he made on that?
Well, it was
first Waddle touchdown where, oh man, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful seal. Man, he's just so good. And he makes a big difference. The difference between him and Jackson at left tackle, I mean, come on, man.
Did you see how Teron Armstead, like there was a point in the game, and I can't remember who it was that pointed it out. It might have been Hussam, but basically they were driving down the field. They had just made a quick play to Tyreek. Oh no, it was Jalen Waddle. It was like a 20-yard pass in the middle of the field that Waddle jumped up and came down with it. And they were running up to the line, getting ready to do the next play. And Armstead kind of looks behind Tua and just kind of says, "Calm down. It's like, don't let yourself get too crazy here." Because
he's a leader. He's a good player.
No, Teron Armstead, like, there's so many players that if you think about it, it's like, if we didn't have this guy, we would not have won. If we didn't have this guy, we would not have won. Teron Armstead, like, we were getting hyped up about the fullback, Alec Ingold. And by the way, he also had some ridiculously crucial blocks throughout that game.
He did when we use him. We don't use him as much as I thought we would, because in that game we got behind in that game, so we were running more 11 personnel and we weren't using the fullback as much, and it makes sense, you know. I think it was CK that said, "Why don't we just start that way? Why don't we just start the game like we've been trying to, just run the 11 personnel more than anything because we're just so good out of it."
Well, I guess the question that I would have for you is, how were you expecting Alec Ingold to be used exactly? Because I figured this is exactly what you would use.
Well, going into the season, I just thought we'd be running the ball more. But I've mentioned before that McDaniel's not that guy. He's not that. We've got to establish the run. So let me go try and run the ball with my fullback against an 8-man box. He's like, oh, well, if they're not going to defend our track team, then I guess we're going to throw the ball. And then I said last week on the show that Tua needs to have a couple big-time games. I think he might have packed those into one this time. That's then going to loosen up. Like, what's Buffalo going to do? Are they going to play the run like Baltimore started to play the run? Like Patriots clearly sold out to stop the run, like teams did in preseason. They sold out to stop the run because McDaniel's the run guru, right? So we better stop this run. Tua sucks. We're not going to worry about Hill and Waddle. Well, clearly Buffalo's going to see, well, that might not be the strategy. So that's probably going to open up the run a little bit more for us. And I imagine we might be able to run the ball more. We were able to run the ball more on Baltimore too.
And Tua in the huddle after the Chase Edmonds run to the 6. It's us or them now. They didn't give a crap about a field goal. Love the mentality. A Cap for Life was actually saying it. He's like, enough with the scared mindset. We're going to put our foots on their throat.
They had no intention but anything but a touchdown from the moment that drive started. You knew they were going for the touchdown. They were going for the win.
Oh, yeah. But you know what? That changes the mentality of a little bit. And you know what? I'm also going to say this. And I said this during the final yard of the postgame show. This is what makes Mike McDaniel so much more special than the guys in his past, right? His predecessors. Yeah. Brian Flores, we thought was a good coach at first, and he was doing some wonderful things. We liked it because we all liked him, Ron. We all liked him at
Flores
first.
Was a great coach
in the first 2 years.
Like 20 years ago. Brian Flores was no different than what Belichick has become because he doesn't have Brady anymore, and what Tomlinson is without a good court, without Roethlisberger. But great coach. They know how to coach the heck out of people. They know how to coach the heck out of defense. They know how to manage a game. They know how to game plan. They know how to scheme. So they're going to get more wins than Joe Philbin is with those teams, right? Or Adam Gase is with those teams. But you know what?
But Ron, this is what I mentioned. This is what I brought up. And I feel like it's getting overlooked a lot because it's not just the fact that their philosophies are supposedly outdated. Because remember, we liked the philosophy at first. We liked what we were seeing. And for all the talk about Mike Tomlin and Brian Flores and what they're doing with Pittsburgh and what they're doing now, the thing that killed both Flores' career in Miami and Adam Gase's career in Miami, it was their ego. It was the part of that killed them was the fact that they thought they were right. They were the smartest person in the room. And don't you dare question me because I will throw you out of my room. It's like that was the thing that killed them. And we're seeing it now in real time.
Yeah, Manny, the draw to Edmonds was an amazing call.
Yeah.
Man, was it? Because even the commentaries were like, man, they're taking a long time here. They're doing the man, that call, that was like, that to me, and I know it didn't have the same result, but when you talk about gutsy calls, we've had 2 weeks now, and we've had 2 calls we can point to that were like, holy crap. The 4th and 7, right? Against the Patriots, when it was 4th and 7 at where was it? The 40, 45, what have you. The Waddle touchdown in week 1 when it was 4th and 7, and that run call. Oh man, were those gutsy calls.
No, I was just as shocked as the Ravens.
McDaniels is an aggressive coach. He is not scared. He is definitely not scared. And one thing I haven't noticed is every time we go for it on 4th down, I don't think we've tried the whole, let's just see if we can get them off sides. Like when they line up to go for it on 4th down, they're going for it. And teams know it. They better be ready. They better be ready. We're not just trying to draw you off sides. That's not what this coach is about.
Nope, they're definitely not. He doesn't have an ego, and that makes so much more different because he's willing to listen to what's going on around him. He's willing to make changes based on what he's seeing instead of just keep ramming his head into the wall like Flores and Gase were. All right, so next, from Catch the Rabbit, our O-line still sucks donkey. Silver lining is that Austin Jackson might be losing his starting role. Hooray! 2 games in, no running game to be found. I wouldn't say that. The Ravens game, there was a running game a little bit, and I think a lot.
Yeah, we ran the ball. We didn't run the ball as much because we got behind so well. But we ran the ball.
But we were running the ball. Yeah,
Raheem we were running. When we ran the ball, we did a good job.
Raheem Mostert was.
I disagree about the O-line. I totally disagree on that. It still sucks donkey. You know what? I disagree on that, but
I don't do algorithms. I
can't say it's perfect. Obviously, it's not, but I disagree that it's still. I mean, do you remember there, Catch the Rabbit, what O-line sucking means? Perhaps you should go back and watch some 2021 games. Come back to me when you're done. I don't think you'll have that same thought. Talk about revisionist history or getting amnesia. What sucks? O-line sucking. You want to see O-line sucking in 2022? Go watch the Bengals.
Oh yeah, the Bengals.
Go watch that team. That's O-line sucking, and they spent all that money on Lyle Collins that it doesn't even seem like he's better than Eichenberg, which would be our worst O-line.
We were so mad.
So mad we didn't get him. I would say Ike has probably been playing better, at least. I won't say he is better. He's been playing better than him. Ike is our one. Yeah, Ike is like our one lineman right now that's like, he had some nice blocks in this past game, though. He played better this time than he played in week 1, which is fine. I mean, it's an improvement. Hey, what did McDaniel say about week 1, right? Week 1 after the end of the win, well, that should be our worst game of the year. Well, so far, we've definitely improved, except for the first half and the defense. They definitely struggled. But another thing I want to give McDaniel credit, man, is his adjustments. His adjustments throughout the game and at halftime on both sides of the ball, or the adjustments being made, have been really, really good. Really good. I can't get enough. I mean, everybody's excited about Tua, and I'm excited about Tua, but I just can't get enough of Mike McDaniel. That guy, that's the guy I'm the most excited about on this team. I know that sounds weird, but that's the first time in my life as a Dolphins fan. I've been a Dolphins fan now like 38 years or something. That's the first time I've ever been like so jacked up about my coach before. I mean, he's really just done a phenomenal job. It's early, yeah, I know, but we just see some things in him. Man, he knows how to call the offense. He calls the right plays at the right time so often.
But remember, he's listening into other people. He's listening to Frank Smith. He's listening to what's his name, John Embry. He's listening to all these people around him who are saying, "Hey, try this." Because technically speaking, remember, we learned this. It's 3 guys talking. McDaniel, Embry, and Smith.
But it's only one calling the plays.
McDaniel's the only one who calls the ultimate decision. But he's listening to other people.
It's like it's a brain trust and not 3 people fighting it out for control. That's a big difference.
So that's kind of
like a brain trust. It's like what they call a mastermind, right? It's like a little offensive mastermind they got going on during the game. I mean, I love it. It's great. You got all those ideas. You know who does that too? And Andy Reid, who obviously is a phenomenal offensive coach, a phenomenal play caller, phenomenal offensive designer. He's talked about that before, how people will give him plays, be like, hey, why don't we try this? Hey, why don't we try this play? And then they'll name them funny stuff. Now, we can't say what they named one of the plays, the F it play, right? The first touchdown to Hill, like actually called it the F it play, but they say the word.
So now,
yeah, I can't get enough of Mike McDaniel. I could talk for an hour just about Mike McDaniel. So I'll shut up.
Well, we're going to get an opportunity here because you made a poll.
Oh my God. I can't believe people got so mad at me about this poll. I was just like, yeah, I guess they got mad because it was like it's a tough one. I understand that. That was why I put the poll. You know what I mean?
So, yeah, the question was, who do you feel more confident in being the long-term solution, Mike McDaniel or Tua? So, but yeah, I personally would go with McDaniel simply because, oh my God,
it's not a slide on Tua.
Like, you can't get away from it, man. Like, you're on the spotlight now.
Mike got introduces garbage poll here. Nice. I wonder if he was one of the ones that said that. Might have been. A lot of people, man, I was like, the moment I did it, I was like, man, I'm about to delete this poll. I can't believe how much negativity was pushed towards it, which surprised me. It wasn't meant to be negative. It was meant to say, look at, like, hey, we're excited about our quarterback. We're excited about our coach. Man, I can't figure out which one I'm excited about more. I think right now the coach, but being excited about the coach, it feeds into what's going on with the quarterback, right? The quarterback is playing good football because of the coach. It's not an either or one fighting the other. It's complementary.
I guess the question becomes like, well, if you're more excited about McDaniel, that means that Tua doesn't matter. It could have been anybody. He could have done it with Bridgewater. He could have done it with Skylar Thompson.
No. What's great about McDaniel, he's not turning a crappy quarterback into a good quarterback. He's unlocking the potential that we always thought the Tua believers thought was there to begin with. He is unlocking what Tua does well, going away from what he doesn't do well, designing an offense that, yeah, sure, a lot of quarterbacks, even mid, quarterbacks would shine in. Man, shoot, there could be. Am I going to sit here and say that Tua is the only guy that could be doing this? I mean, no, there's other quarterbacks that would shine. Like, imagine, I'll give it to Manny. Imagine Hurts in this offense, dude. What?
Whoa! Don't, no. We're not, no. Do not move the goalposts, my friend. This is all on you, okay? Don't all of a sudden say me. I'm nowhere near that type of that analytical question poll stuff of yours, my friend. I'm not falling for that.
You know what? I think Manny is upset because his team is really good. They could be going to the Super Bowl this year, and he's tired of hearing about Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Tua.
You know what? I am going to be honest. I still have Dolphin fans DM me about the damn practice session we had.
Still?
And then when Hill beat Slay, and then when Hill did what he did on Sunday. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, man. I just think that Mike McDaniel's doing a good job unlocking what Tua, the
Alex,
potential that Tua has.
Cold, Alex. Don't do that to Ron. Let's vote Ron off.
They're so mad at you. They're mad at you, bro.
They are mad at me about that poll. That's all right, man. Somebody said, well, why didn't you put a both? Like both? Why don't I just not do the poll then? Everybody's just going to pick both and move on.
Maybe that was their point.
This isn't what you call a push poll. This was like a real poll. You had to make a decision.
The poll conveys the wrong energy for Victory Monday. How dare you?
Yeah, I know. I saw that too.
You
yeah, I know. It was hilarious. That cancel run. I love it. That's hilarious. That's awesome.
Lord. Look, oh my God, they're calling you
Mike McDaniel.
They're calling you Skylar Near, bro. They're calling you a Skylar Near. It's like, oh, you secretly want Skylar Thompson. Yo, this is the Alabama guy.
Hey, you know what? I did the poll. I'm not the one that made almost 300 people pick Coach McDaniel. I just did the poll. It could have easily ended up too. It's not my fault. Y'all's fault that picked McDaniel at like 80%.
Ron, confess to this tweet, my friend.
Ron Canff is a Skylar Near. I'm not even sure what that is. That means
you're a Skylar Thompson guy.
I was not pushing for who said this anyway. Skylar one. Hurts is not an accurate passer. One passing touchdown with Devontae Smith and AJ Brown.
Okay, now we're going to get into when I am going to get extremely upset and pissed. Jalen Hurts couldn't throw left last year. Jalen Hurts couldn't throw over the middle. If you watched the Monday Night Football game last night, ladies and gentlemen, you saw him forcing the football in accurate phases to Dallas Goedert and Devontae Smith, not to mention the touchdown pass to Quaz Watkins down the middle, 50 yards. Enough of this, please. I'm not a Niner fan. Don't come at me, okay?
Like nice. He's attacking you in that, but he's actually going after Manny. It's like Oh, this show. I love this show so much. Seriously.
Yeah, this
like
show
you guys are so much fun. You really are.
Perfect cue.
There you
Right.
go.
You are right. I have
He's
that.
an accurate runner.
Nothing else to
That's funny. That's funny. Hurts is an accurate runner. That's good. That's good. I like it. You know, you guys know I'm a Bama guy, right? So, you know, I'm gonna have some love for Hurts regardless. I think, Manny, you forgot that. So I need you to come back to me a little bit. You do understand I'm a Bama guy. Hurts was with Bama. I understand that he really did his best stuff in college with Oklahoma. But you know, I always got some love for Hurts, man. I'll be honest with you, the only Bama quarterback I really can't get. I guess because right? Yeah, well, he went to New England. I'm sorry. I got nothing for you, man. Yeah. You did all right in Bama. Good for you. I got nothing for you. You went to New England. Now, when they cut you in a couple of years and you go somewhere else, but that isn't the AFC East, all right, maybe I'll start following you and give you some love, but not till then.
Yeah.
Listen, I've spoken. There's no need for that comment. I know that already. By the way, let's not forget they're doing an SEC championship game. Tua got pulled. Hurts came in and won them the football game to get to the national championship.
Tua got hurt.
A lot of people seem to forget that.
Tua got hurt, not pulled. Remember, Tua came in for Hurts to win as well. They did it for each other. But my biggest thing on that was Hurts shouldn't. Now we shouldn't be getting into this conversation, but it's still good to it. Hurts shouldn't have even been on the team that year. And the only reason Hurts was even on the team that year is because he was completely unselfish. He could have easily gone somewhere else already, and he stayed with Bama and stayed there. And that was the only reason Bama won that year, because Hurts was able to come in when Tua got hurt. So that's where I'm always going to have love for Hurts, just for that. Because even if he wasn't like the best Bama quarterback ever, man, that guy did not have to stay that season. He did not even already have to be there. He could have been somewhere else. So there you go. So I don't take any Hurts slander. I don't take any Tua slander either, but that's fine.
All right, there you go. Oh my God, I love this show so much.
All right, we got more tweets. What's going on here?
Okay, we got more tweets. So Finn's Doc, this is about your poll. Whole lot of recency bias in the voting right now. Tua's accomplished so much more, but McDaniel hasn't done anything wrong yet in his very young head coaching career of 2 games. Wasn't there something that we were talking about not that long ago where you had said that there was one thing, either it was you or me, I can't remember, but there was like one thing that McDaniel had done that I wasn't a fan. I think it was me. It was something that McDaniel had done that I was not a fan of. I'm trying to remember what it was now, because now
it must have not been very important.
It was not even very important because I can't remember what it was.
When you forget what you say, as my grandparents used to say, it must have been a lie. But I don't remember. I don't know. I mean, obviously McDaniel's going to make some mistakes. We haven't really seen glaring ones. I know they had in week 1, they had some issues getting the calls in, and Tua had to make the calls and things like that. But we saw when Gase first started and Flo first started, we saw kind of like Nathaniel Hackett in Denver, all kinds of issues adjusting to being the guy in charge of everything, and you know, the speed of the game and decision making and getting plays in and all of that stuff. We saw those guys, Flo and Gase, in the beginning of their coaching careers, struggle early in that whole first season. And we haven't really seen that yet, but I'm going to give credit to what I've heard McDaniel say multiple times. He said always as a whatever position he was in, he was absorbing everything around him. He wasn't just trying to focus on what he was doing. He was paying attention to what the coach was doing, pay attention to what the defensive coaches were doing. All the other roles, he was trying to pay close attention to it, absorb. And I think some of that really paid off, because he just, you know, it's like right players talk about mental reps. McDaniel's been on the sideline taking mental reps for 15 years. And I think that shows, because so far he hasn't come in and made those rookie head coach mistakes like we see so many rookie head coaches do. Not all of them. There's some rookie head coaches. DeBall's doing great right now with the Giants, and Daniel Jones of all people. Who knew, right? But I give McDaniel credit for that. But some mistake is coming somewhere. Come on, you know, even good coaches make mistakes sometimes, and experienced coaches.
All right, next up, Jersey Finn fan. Vote has to go to Coach McDaniel since he's a coach. Physically, he can stay around another 40 plus years. Could you imagine really, just one moment, if you could imagine that Mike McDaniel could be the next Don Shula for these Dolphins,
well,
like stick around for 40 plus years and just be the guy forever.
On the after show, Ethan mentioned that he really feels that McDaniel is I think he said 10 plus year coach. So I really hope that that's the case. It feels like it, but I mean, a lot of times we feel that way with everything. I just see some really exciting things from McDaniel.
Yeah. So McDaniel, but by the way, that McDaniel's ultimate goal is to be the next Bill Walsh and Tua the next Joe Montana. Interesting that we choose the 49ers comparison rather than the Dolphins one. But I guess Montana is a more fitting description for Tua than Dan Marino ever was, because
Montana, Breeze, Steve Young. Man, talk about the comparison to Steve Young. And hey, and you know who was all about what's going on? And it really surprised me. Steve Young, man, he was even talking about Tua and his improvement in the first game. He's like, no, I understand that the stats weren't there, but he was giving all these reasons why Mike McDaniel is the reason for Tua's success, and it's not a flash in the pan. It's not lucky. It's going to continue. No, he's not going to throw 6 touchdowns every game and 469 yards, but the improvements on Tua aren't just luck or BS or, whatever. They are permanent, and he gave the reasons why, and he gave a lot of credit to Mike McDaniel, and he enjoyed those comparisons to himself, honestly. But Steve Young obviously being a much more physical player, much more physical runner.
All right. So now what we're going to do now is something that we wanted to do. We've been talking about it, is that we're going to let Manny pick 3 storylines around the NFL. That's going to, we'll find a way to tie it back into the Dolphins. I'm sure we will, but
I always can.
we always find a way.
Yeah.
So we got some storylines going around the NFL, and Manny's going to go ahead and hit us with some. So we're going to react to them. So go ahead, Manny. What's your first storyline?
And I think my dog actually wants to say the first one. So guys, as we know, the unfortunate injury to Trey Lance happened in the first quarter or in the first half with the San Francisco 49ers. Obviously, then questions start to, well, not questions, right? Because we all questioned what they were actually doing with Jimmy Garoppolo. Then reports came out that, well, they couldn't trade him anyways because he was having surgery. And then all of a sudden they keep him on the football team. So
it wasn't even a report. It was Kyle Shanahan said it in public. So, he said we would have been able to trade Garoppolo if he hadn't had the surgery.
Correct. So as time now has moved on, and it's very unfortunate for this young man, the way that Jimmy Garoppolo entered into the football game, his teammates patting him on the back and giving him high fives, I truly feel like the organization didn't really have Trey Lance's best interest. I know that's harsh to say.
Manny, do you have a ghost in your house?
I think it's his dog that came in. Your door opened and we didn't see him open it.
I don't know.
It's the ghost of Trey Lance.
It's the ghost of Niner Nation. Do you guys believe that the organization truly had his back 100%, or the reason why they kept Jimmy Garoppolo? Because we all know this, right? You leave a vet that started all these seasons. Like, for example, let's paint Tua. Let's say Tua had a veteran starting 2 years ahead of him. They made the Super Bowl and the loss.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
They made the NFC Championship. Well, no, but that.
Well, let's just say that's who it was, right?
Let's just say they were successful.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Tua finally gets the reins, but yet they don't move on from that veteran, right? How is Tua supposed to say to that locker room, "This is my team now. I'm in charge now. I'm the one that's supposed to lead us." And then you see what happens yesterday, right? They're patting him on the back and stuff, and then you hear the players. Debo didn't sound excited about it, but then you see George Kittle's reaction, and Brandon Ayuk is ecstatic, and you're like, there's so many questions. So basically, again, do you think the 49ers had Trey Lance's interest? Did they have his best interests?
No,
I don't think they did.
Absolutely not.
I think it was forced, and they were going through the motions because they
know
invested so much to go get Trey Lance, because they traded all those picks with Miami, right? And the 3-1s to go get Trey Lance. And I think they felt a bit forced to do it. But last minute, I think the organization made a decision. Hey, no one's trading for Garoppolo. No one's going to make him a starter.
Also,
let's just make him a great offer as a backup and keep him.
Yeah,
man, we got a good team.
They had Brock Purdy as backup, and he didn't perform well in preseason.
No.
Right?
So
and this team is built to win now. So,
yeah. So, and they knew that, and it's not like they were hoping something would happen with Trey Lance. I think they were just hoping Trey Lance would make it happen, and if he didn't make it happen, they were gonna they were going to throw in Garoppolo. Let's say the Niners had gone like 1-3 or something, 1-4. Garoppolo was going to end up being in there anyway.
I mean,
they weren't going to sit that long. But I think it was forced, and it was a little, they didn't have their heart in it all the way with Trey Lance. They just felt like, okay, we've got to give this kid a try. We've got a good team. Let's see if we can manage through it while he gets better. And if he can't, we'll put in Garoppolo. Yeah, so yeah, for sure. Trey Lance just looking over his shoulder the whole time. It's tough when you're given the reins, but you're not really given the reins.
But let me just say this. There was a tweet earlier.
I already love this segment.
There was a tweet earlier in the show that said that, we can just say goodbye to the Miami Dolphins' great first-round draft pick. Listen, I am not going to come out here and say that the 49ers is going to suddenly be world beaters just because freaking Jimmy Garoppolo, of all people, just showed up and started quarterbacking the San Francisco 49ers again. You know who we stole? We stole their offensive mastermind. So there you go. I know Kyle Shanahan is a really good guy, a really good coach. But let's not pretend Mike McDaniel didn't have a lot to do with it.
Yeah, towards the end, McDaniel definitely had a lot to do with it. But let's not forget that McDaniel, not everything he knows, but most of what he knows, he learned from Shanahan.
Shanahan.
Hey, if you want to talk about coaching trees, right? Belichick coaching tree, trash, right? Like Bill O'Brien might be the best from there. We could say Vrabel, but Vrabel really wasn't part of the coaching tree. He was a player. But dude, Shanahan. He's got
Mike Shanahan.
Yeah, Mike Shanahan. Dude, he's got McFlurry. What is his name? McFleur, right? Over in Green Bay.
I thought you said McFlurry.
McFlurry, whatever his name is in Green Bay. You know what I mean? He's got Sean McVay over in the Rams. He's got some good coaches. And Mike McDaniel obviously is starting to show something. It's early still. So
but I'm not worried about, man. I'm not worried about the Dolphins draft pick yet. I'm not. Listen, Jimmy Garoppolo does not scare me. Okay,
I hated even talking about. What are we going to do for middle linebacker in 2023? We're 2-0. I don't care what we're going to do for middle linebacker in 2023.
Says the guy who put the divisive poll on Twitter.
That had nothing to do with 2023.
All right, guys, so let's go. So let's quickly go to
next
NFL question number 2. So as we know, Lamar Jackson did not sign his extension. He's basically, in virtual sense, gambling on himself, but he has shown throughout the first 2 weeks of the season he's trying to become a much better pocket passer, and it's been proven. However, though, does this last game hurt him in a sense? I believe it was maybe 4 drives or 5 drives that they couldn't move. The Miami Dolphins defense all of a sudden had those stops. The stops that needed to be made. Lamar needed to at least get one more drive. Listen, if Lamar gets one more touchdown in any of those drives in the fourth, the game is possibly over.
Maybe if they don't even go for it on fourth down, and was it the third quarter or the fourth quarter? If they don't go for it on fourth down in the middle of the field, they got a little cocky there.
That's just John Harbaugh being a.
Well, then, Ron, let's not forget in the first quarter. Remember, they thought he scored a touchdown.
There's been argument over. I've heard some disagreement over whether the Dolphins forced that or it just kind of happened.
Well, if you listen to Alfredo,
it happened either way.
If you listen to Alf, who said it on OnlyFins, which, by the way, $3 a month for the best Dolphins content you'll ever get, best chat room ever, as far as I'm concerned. Not that I'm in that because I work too much. But anyway, listen, according to what I heard, Zach Sealer was right in Lamar Jackson's face. So even if he didn't fumble, he was going to be right there to ruin his day.
That's what Alfred said. Yeah, I remember. He said that, I think, in the 3YPC podcast as well. That Sealer was going to be there anyway, but either way. Well, to answer Manny's question, though, last year, obviously Tua came in to rescue that game, and they ended up beating the Ravens, but really it was the defense that was just giving Lamar Jackson, complete hell, and they were using the zero blitz. And this time, the zero blitz wasn't working, but we seemed to make an adjustment in the second half. We put more pressure on them. We weren't touching Lamar Jackson, but we were definitely playing a more aggressive style of defense. If all of a sudden they run off 5 or 6 losses in a row again because people start to go to school on that again, I think that's a problem for Lamar Jackson. I honestly just don't see that happening, man. I think Lamar Jackson's issue is here's his biggest issue. I can't remember one of the 3 teams, but he said, I want to go to Miami. I want to go to Philly. I want to go to some other
Detroit.
Detroit. Well, I guess it's Detroit now because I think Miami's got their quarterback, and I think Philly got their quarterback. So I guess you're going to Detroit.
Also has 2 first-round picks just in case Jalen Hurts.
Would you make that trade, Manny?
Absolutely.
Okay, bye-bye, Jalen Hurts.
Listen, I am a Miami guy. He's a Miami guy. Him playing my favorite football team. Well, you know what? That's kind of mad. That's kind of bad for me because Hurts has played an amazing 2 weeks, so I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, I know. It's the same thing with Tua. It's like everybody wants to replace Tua with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
like,
by the way, I do want to say one thing about these Tua haters. It doesn't matter what form you throw the damn football, as long as it gets there. Like, since when do we nitpick on where the pinky toe is pointing and where the elbow is allocating itself?
And that's actually an old school, new school. The old school people say, oh, it's got to be faced that way. But some of the new school people are saying, no, some of the way to generate torque now is to open up the body a little bit more.
Has anybody seen Johnny Unitas throw a football and all these other guys that were Hall of Famers?
I wasn't developing eyelids, Manny. I know who Johnny Unitas is, but I've never seen him play.
But you watch highlights though, and you watch him throw the football. You're like, oh my goodness, I'm surprised he could even do that. I'm like, come on, guys, let's be honest.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's just people like to pick on too. Everybody's got access to all 22. They're all experts now, you know.
Okay, I guess we're gonna go 4 topics.
Alfredo though. Hey guys, long-time listener. Question: explain why Kirk Cousins is so bad in prime time. My theory has.
Yeah, that's funny.
Like the Kirk Cousins.
No, I am not. You know what, Matt? I have to be a Hurts fan. Hold on. I have to be a Hurts fan because he's right now playing for my favorite team. I can't say nonetheless. The time that he starts playing inconsistent and actually has consecutive games with the turnovers and bad results, okay, I feel like I could be critical. Man, you guys being critical on your football team, I can do the same thing. Oh man,
people are critical of Tua with 469 yards and 6 touchdowns.
We're trying to answer the Kirk Cousins question. Why is he so bad in prime time? Maybe he has night blindness. I don't know. Maybe he does. I don't have an answer for that, man. But he really is like the most Jekyll and Hyde quarterback when it comes to playing in prime time. Like,
do you know who Kirk Cousins is, Ron? Do you know who Kirk Cousins is? I'm gonna throw this out there. Do you know
Kirk Cousins throws 400 yards and 4 touchdowns and they lost?
He's like a souped up Ryan Tannehill. I don't know.
Not Tannehill. Ryan, yes, but not Tannehill.
A souped up Ryan
Fitzpatrick. Yes, exactly.
You guys are.
I don't know. He's a little bit more.
Guys. Let's get going to our final NFL post take. So let's be honest. Dolphins secondary could be better. Obviously, Byron Jones coming back definitely helps.
That'll help, man. X did not have a good game.
No,
if we're gonna get critical, wow, X really struggled.
We all saw Buffalo last night. Diggs is in his zone. Josh Allen seems just absolutely unstoppable, and now it's basically that he doesn't have to have his legs do it for him. It's his arm. He's been accurate with the football. He's creating completions. He's creating plays with his legs. Like those are things that us as people that live down here and you guys being Dolphin fans know already. What has to happen this upcoming Sunday, at least when it comes to the secondary, for them to come back into play the way that we know that they can? Because Lamar Jackson is one thing. Josh Allen is showing he's completely just another beast, without question.
The thing about Josh Allen is that he's bigger and stronger than Lamar, but he's not as fast. So he's probably going to be willing to take a few more hits. So I honestly think he'll be running a little bit more against the Dolphins than Lamar is.
He's not only that. He's harder to tackle, though. Josh Allen is hard to tackle. I mean, look at how many tackles he breaks. I know he's not as beastly as Derrick Henry, but the dude breaks tackles like Derrick Henry. He's so hard to bring down. Man, is he hard to tackle. It's frustrating to watch sometimes. Like that guy, people will have him in the grasp and they can just never bring him down.
I love you, Yellow Arrow. Josh Allen's over.
I mean,
I don't know.
I wish that were true.
Well, how high are you rating him? Are you rating him higher than Patrick Mahomes? Then yes, he's overrated, in my opinion.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
So there we go, guys. That was it.
Well, but to answer the question, what does the secondary have to do? They have to play more press coverage. They can't play, especially now. If you look at what Buffalo's doing on offense, and you can clearly see a switch now from DeBoll to, isn't it Ken Dorsey, right? Isn't that who their offensive coordinator is? You can see an adjustment in their game where they're using the 8 and 10 yards from the line of scrimmage. Man, that is like where all the action is right now for Buffalo.
Do you know what this offense reminds me of? And guess who was the OC then? The Carolina Panthers that made it to the Super Bowl. Cam Newton. Who was the offensive coordinator? Ken Dorsey.
Yeah. So they are using. I mean, you want to talk about
Josh Allen's arm is way better than Cam Newton's. Plus, he has weapons.
This is the thing too. I think people need to realize. Like, go watch a lot of these offensive teams. The quick passes. The passes inside of the 10, everything going inside of the 10. The best of the best quarterbacks are playing that way now. It's not all let's bomb it, let's bomb it, let's bomb it, let's bomb it. Yeah, Miami just did that. That's weird when you got Tua, right? That they're the ones bombing it, but because that was open.
Ron, but you know what though, Ron? Tua's always done that though. He's alwa's taking those shots. He'll throw the ball 15 yards down the field. Not 30,
because he's an accurate
but he's right there.
Thrower. But Miami needs to be up on. They can't give all this cushion. They can't play zone. They're gonna get burned once in a while. It's gonna happen. But they just got to play press. In my opinion, they got to just play more press. That's the way that's what they're designed. I think we said this didn't we say this last week going into the Baltimore game, and they didn't start doing it till the second half. They got to play more press. They got to play the defense that. They built the defense to play this way. The way New England played for years, the way they still play. Press up at the line. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. I mean, I don't know why you're trying to do something else.
Okay, so Matthias bringing up why not just play cover zero? Because we can't afford it yet. Byron Jones is not out there.
Yeah, I think it's a problem. I think without having exactly the 3-4 guys out there that
and I
got to be honest with you,
we're running looks.
We can't play zero if X plays the way he played this past week. There's no way. We get crushed. We can't play that all day.
Wait, there's a difference between actually running cover zero, like straight up just go the blitz and send Xavier Howard and Byron Jones on an island. But we're giving cover zero looks. Don't make a mistake about it. We got guys in the box and we're just pulling back. That's what the Ravens were doing as well. Yeah. Like everybody's kind of trying to do the variation on the amoeba defense. So we're giving cover zero looks. We're just not committing to it because we know that we can get burned by.
We're ready for it. I mean, it wasn't going to work to just sit there and blitz them zero blitz 35 times like we did last year.
No, without Byron Jones.
But I still don't think we employed the right strategy. So let's hope that let's not take 7 games to get it together this time, defense. Seriously, we can't do that. Not like we did last year.
Speaking of Buffalo, we got to start wrapping this up. So what are we going to end up doing here? So we're going to do what? Remember we did. Do you remember the rules, Ron?
Oh yeah, that's right. We have to pick an MVP. We have to pick a guy who's going to is like a breakout guy or something that you're not expecting, and then a guy that's maybe going to come down to earth.
Correct. All right, you go first.
Oh man, I got to pull this.
I needed to make sure you knew what we were doing.
Is that Tua then? Are you going to say Tua's going to come back to earth?
No. I would never jinx it like that, man. I would never jinx it like that. I think it's so hard. We had so many guys that broke out. I think the breakout guy is going to be Mostert. I think
so you're taking my guy this time.
Oh yeah, I think Mostert will be the breakout guy. The guy that's not going to have as big a day is going to be Hill because I think they're just going to bracket and double cover the absolute crap out of him and figure out how to handle Waddle because I think Hill scares them more over the top than Waddle does. So I think Hill will have a not as big a game, and not that he'll play bad. He just won't be what he was. I think Waddle will get a shot, and then I got to pick an MVP, right?
Like just straight up, this is the superstar of the game right here.
X, baby.
Weren't you just saying 5 minutes ago that you were
coming back this game? X is going to be the MVP of the game.
Okay, so we're seeing a pick 6 in our future then? Is that what you're saying? Okay, I'll work.
I got two picks for X this game.
2. Doggone it, man. You're aiming high. Okay, I'll give you that. All right. My guy who's going to be okay. Hi, Manny. You're back. Are you back? All right. So
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know about that. We'll take it, but I don't know about that. That's Super Bowl right there.
Listen, if you have Tua in fantasy, you're for sure winning the league. Like, there's no ifs or buts about it if that's the case.
I will say in OnlyFans, we have some different channels. We have a fantasy channel, and I was busting on because I don't even play fantasy anymore. I haven't since I haven't in a couple of years. I just kind of got away from it and haven't got back into it. But I was like, how with Tua ranked at like 14, 15, 17, how are you guys who, if you didn't have Mahomes or Herbert or Allen or Rodgers, right? If you draft those 4, you probably don't draft a backup quarterback because you're just going to focus on other things. But if you drafted any other quarterback, how you didn't pick up Tua as a second quarterback, how all these people let them slide, especially Dolphins fans, are crazy. Crazy, they should have been drafting him. And I did not say that last year. Last year, I said, you're stupid if you draft Tua. He's not going to be a good fantasy quarterback. This year, man, I don't know why people wouldn't have drafted him. I was talking to somebody today in my office that said, I went and picked him up after this week. How is he on the bench? Don't people pay attention? No. People watch too much ESPN, man.
Yeah, I drafted Lamar with my 4th pick, and I got Tua, I think, with my 9th pick. He was actually still on the board. I was like, hey, listen, if he has 2 weapons right now, that's better than last year. There has to be some type of difference. Like, no damn way.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and give my picks for that role now. I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to take the overrated player this time. You know who I think is going to continue to be a little bit overshadowed? It's going to be Emmanuel Ogbah. He hasn't done much lately.
He hasn't even really. A lot of times with Ogbah, he wouldn't get the sacks, but he'd get the pressures. Like, I feel like him and Phillips, man, they're not living up to their end of the deal right now.
And it's interesting
because they're not living up to their end of the deal, and it's making it harder on the defense in general.
And it's interesting because Alfredo actually said that PFF said they had Jalen Phillips as one of their top-rated guys, and he kind of agrees. I'd be interested to see what his reasoning is for that because I didn't notice Jalen Phillips at all. Like
I don't know. That's not always a terrible thing on defense, but I didn't notice him being necessarily.
But for pass rushers, though, if you're a cornerback, then yes, it's a good thing if I don't notice you. For pass rushers, though, their game is all about flash and style.
Yeah, well, about being disruptive in the passing game. I don't know that anyone was disruptive in the passing game as far as the D-line in this past game. I mean, nobody even came close to touching Lamar.
Yeah, I don't think I'm thinking
but obviously, especially as an outside linebacker, there are other responsibilities and things you do. Hey, we were, especially up the middle, holy crap, we were stout against the run. You know what? We keep playing this right.
I mean, it was Kenyon Drake.
Why haven't one of us, picked? I'm still sticking with X. Man, we're ignoring Sealer. That guy was just stuffing everything in the middle, man. He's not even the quote unquote starter, but he plays more snaps on the D line than just about anybody because he might be our best D lineman. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think he's our best D lineman.
I think he's the most noticeable one, that's for sure. Christian Wilkins, I feel like he forever.
They were all stuff in the middle. They were all like no one could. They couldn't run nothing every time, man. Stuff. They could not run on us up the middle. That reminds me of the 2001 with Tim Bowens, and Darryl Gardner. Like you couldn't run up the middle on those boys. You couldn't do it. So that kind of reminded me a little bit in this past game, man. They were really stuffing it up the middle. They've been stuffing the run up the middle, especially since after the second drive against the Patriots. At whatever adjustment they've made since then, that's been big. That's going to help us a lot. It's going to help us. We just need to get us some pressure on the quarterback. But I'll let you continue on your players.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that out. So I'm going to go ahead and say underrated, the guy who's going to actually do more than I'm expecting. Like for all the stuff that Mike Gesicki did in the Ravens game, I wasn't expecting it, and quite frankly, I don't know if I'm expecting it again this time. But you know what? I think he might actually get more looks this time around because, again, this falls back to what I was saying about Mike McDaniel saying, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to see that something that I changed was effective. So I think we might actually see Mike Gesicki go out on some more routes. He played a majority of the snaps, I think, as far as the tight end position goes. I think he would have played 40% of the snaps on offense.
Well, again, I stole this from CK. I'm not a film watcher, but CK goes back, he watches the All-22, and he sees how much we're running certain personnel groupings. And, when we play 11 personnel, obviously, and we're down. I mean, when we're down and have to throw the ball, and we're going to commit to throwing the ball, Gesicki's going to be out there. So I think that's why we ended up seeing. Remember last week I said Gesicki was going to be my breakout guy. Obviously he didn't have the day to Waddle and Hill had, but he was more noticeable.
No, he was crucial.
I can't remember whether he had 4 or 5 receptions on the same amount of targets. He caught all of his targets and caught the touchdown, which was big.
And by the way, yellow arrow pointing out, it's actually 63% that Gesicki played. So there you go.
Oh yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Order status. The Durham Smythe experiment is over. I think Mike Gesicki is the guy again. Which again,
Durham Smythe, man, he whiffed on a block. I mean, it was one block, but oh god, he whiffed on one. It was terrible. Terrible in that game.
Everybody whiffs. Everybody whiffs.
It happens. It happens.
Like even Teron Armstead gets beat sometimes. Like it's not. No one's perfect.
Yeah.
So, and my MVP of the game, The MVP, I think, is going to be Jalen Waddle again. Because to your point, they're going to cover the heck out of Tyreek. They're going to.
I think they're going to bring out careful, their man. They don't have their main dude there at cornerback. And
Micah Hyde how injured is Micah Hyde?
Hill can beat the bracket and beat the double coverage.
I think
if you don't play it right. White. Yeah, Tre'Davious White. Thank you. He could definitely beat the double coverage sometimes. So they still got to be careful. And clearly Tua is not afraid to throw the ball, even if Hill's double covered, if he thinks he's going to beat the bracket. So.
And how injured is Micah Hyde exactly? Because he's one of the main guys of that.
I guess we don't know. He went to the hospital too for a checkup. I don't know anything about it, and I haven't heard. I assume that. Oh man, what was his name? I'm terrible with names of defensive players on other teams. I don't give a crap about.
Dick Jackson. I
hadn't heard what the status was on him. I hope he's okay.
He walked out of the hospital. He's fine.
That's great to hear. I can't imagine he's playing this week, but that's really
definitely not.
Scary,
no.
Scary hit. That's why those dudes build up their shoulders so big, man.
All rivalries aside, glad he's okay. Nobody ever wants to see something like that.
Absolutely. I wonder if from now on you'll see him wear the Brian Cox thing. I don't ever see players wear that anymore.
We don't wear the neck brace anymore. I wonder why that is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Are we going to give our predictions? We can't forget that. Man.
Yeah, we're going to give our predictions. Go ahead. You give your predictions. Who's going to?
I got to give my first. Why I always got to go first? You go first this time.
Fine, whatever. Because I'm the host. I get to do what I want.
Is that what it is? All right, I'll go first.
No, I'll go first, Ron. I'll go first.
All right, go ahead.
I'll go first. I'll go first. All right. So, unfortunately, I can't do it this time. I really can't. I want to. I really do. And I convinced myself to pick the Dolphins, and I thought prediction was going to be wrong. This time, I can't do it. It's Buffalo. I think the Dolphins will put up a fight. I think they'll score, but I just don't have the faith that the Dolphins can stop that Josh Allen-led offense. So I'm thinking the Dolphins lose this game, the first loss of the season, which again, remember at the start of the season, we were going to say we were going to count our lucky stars and we were going to go 2-2. So I'm going to go ahead and say that Buffalo wins this game 35-21. So I think we'll put up some points, but Buffalo, man, Buffalo makes me nervous. But if I'm wrong, I'll be so happy. All right, go ahead. Matthias already calling me a coward in the comments. Go ahead. It's fine. I know I'm a coward.
I mean,
you go ahead, Ron.
Buffalo's an amazing team, obviously. They're really good. Probably the best team in the league. And I really want Miami to win. That's why they're gonna, baby. 35-32. Miami 35-32 on a last-second Sanders 50-yard field goal.
I said that last week, bro.
Woo! Let's do this. I'm ready.
Okay, fine, Ron. You can have it. 30. What is it? 35-30.
35-32 Miami on a last-second field goal, 50-yard from Sanders.
Okay. Okay, whatever, man. Listen, I used the Jason Sanders excuse last week. I think you feel like you stole my thing. That's why you made me go first, so that way you could talk. So you could pick the.
I already knew what I was going to say. I had it preloaded in my head. I had exactly what I thought the score would be, what I thought would happen.
Sure you did. Like you already you saw Matthias trashing me, so I better pick the Dolphins on this.
Oh
one.
Man,
you really believe it? I get
crushed. I get crushed. I actually do. I actually do. I think that the Dolphins are more focused than the Bills because I think the Bills are cocky. I know Allen when he plays Miami is super cocky, and I think this time they're going to get bit in the butt with it because I don't think they're ready for this Miami Dolphins team. Because what is the difference? That game this past Sunday played out every way I've seen every dang blowout Miami take, on the wrong side. But man, the difference was the coach. The coach didn't let the players get down. And I like what he said. He's like, well, forget it, man. I mean, maybe we're going to lose this game, but he's going to empty his clip, so to speak, right? He's going to make sure that if he goes down, it's with an empty clip. That's pretty much what he did.
So weird.
And it's different. It is different because most times they would just given in. They would have just given up. 35-14, it's over. Let's give up. They've got us. And they just weren't going to do that. And they're not going to do that in this game either. I have a feeling Buffalo's going to get up on us
Oh, I'm sure they're not gonna give up.
Anticipate that we're going to be coming back from a 14 or 17 or even 21-point deficit. Not the fourth quarter.
No way, not again.
Not in the fourth quarter, but I think at some point at the beginning of the first half or at the end of the first half, very beginning of the second half, you're going to see Buffalo with a pretty sizable lead, and you're going to see Miami climb out of it again. Now, it's not going to be 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, but you're going to see Miami climb out of it again. You are absolutely going to see that happening. I think you are. I think that it's going to play out a little bit differently, but not too much different than it did with the Ravens game.
Well, I'll say this, Ron. You're officially back on Matthias's nice list. So congratulations on that one.
So am I forgiven for my divisive poll? Just hilarious. Just because I didn't choose both. That would have been so boring. Both.
All right. More Buffalo points or more Buffalo fans' teeth? Oh, my God. Yeah, that's the reason I don't go to rival games anymore. I don't want to get into a fight. Thank you.
You know what? My office
41, Buffalo 24.
Ooh.
Okay, Ron. Okay,
my office is filled with Bills fans. Filled with Bills fans. And I asked every single one of them. I mean, and some of this is the owners, right? I said, man, the owner, he just got back from the Buffalo game. Like, he got back today. Like, took like a red eye, right? Like, he's a huge Bills fan. And I said, you going to the game? He's like, man, we tried to get a bunch of tickets together. We just couldn't do it. They were gone. That's right, baby. Dolphins fans are in the stands now. Big difference. Yeah,
well, I mean,
it's not going to be like 45% Bills fans this time.
All righty. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. It was
hold on. I am hurt. I just predicted a Dolphins win and no love from the chat. Man, screw it.
Oh, man. Come on. I'll give Manny.
Manny, congratulations. You're awesome.
Sorry, bro.
We love you, Manny.
Man, you know what? Buffalo 41, Dolphins 24.
You can't change the prediction.
Exactly. If that's the final score, I'm gonna kill you, Manny, if that ends up being the final score and the Bills win. That's funny.
Oh, God. Alfredo said, your office is filled with Bills fans. Have they learned to walk upright yet? No, but they've learned how to throw themselves off of tables on the desks.
I'm going to ask them to do that. Here, see this desk right here? I want you to jump on it. If you're a true Bills fan, you'll do it.
If you're a true Bills fan, break the desk.
Nice.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Once again, thank you, everybody, for joining us. We're really glad to have you all here. It was an awesome, fun show. I'm really glad. It was so much fun. So before we go, just going to go ahead and one more time point out that this show was brought to you by PrizePicks.com. So make sure that you're going on to there using the promo code 5. That's FIVE. They'll match up to $100 on your first initial deposit when you first sign up. There's all sorts of people signing up all the time. And remember, I won my Tom Brady freebie pick. They'll give you that if you sign up, and they'll send you emails like, hey, we're giving you a freebie. Might want to take advantage of it. So once again, just pick 3, 4, 5 different players across different leagues, NFL, the MLB, the NBA, even the NHL. There's sports all over the place that you can go ahead and pick. I think the only thing missing at this point is like pickleball. I don't think they have anything for that.
I play pickleball, but I didn't know you could bet it.
No, I'm not sure if you can either, but I think they might eventually. So use the promo code 5, FIVE. Pick the over on Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. That's always going to be a safe bet for you, I think. All right. So once again, thank you all so much for joining us. It was awesome. Matthias, leave Manny alone. He's our good friend. We love him. All right.
That's right. We can't do the show without him.
So you can't do the show without Manny.
Please don't send him running away. Thank you.
It would not be the same without Manny.
We need him to talk our crap about the Dolphins.
Okay. It's gonna. No, I'm just.
All right. Thank you all for joining us. Good night.